Robert Mueller's grand jury has now indicted 12 Russian intelligence operatives for meddling in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. According to the charges, these 12 individuals hacked accounts within the Hillary Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee. They also stole the information of 500,000 American voters. For 2 years, Donald Trump has cast doubt on the idea that Democrats were hacked during the election or that Russians were involved. So, now what? Let's bring in Kenneth Vecchio, political and legal strategist, and Robin Biro, Democratic strategist. And Ken, why not cancel the meeting with Vladimir Putin on Monday?
I can give a lot of reasons why not, starting with that there's a massive misconception that there is something illegal about Americans working with Russians in order to influence the election. There's nothing illegal about that unless they collude to commit a crime. There's nothing illegal about the Russian government itself trying to influence our elections, just like Americans and the American government try to influence other countries' elections. It's only if they collude to commit a crime. Now, here we have no evidence whatsoever that there was any nexus or connection between what the Russian government did in allegedly hacking these computers and anybody in the United States. In fact, Rod Rosenstein said such.
Well, we don't have any evidence that's been made public. We don't know what Mueller's got behind the scenes. But Robin, to Ken's point, I mean, the United States has tried to meddle in elections for decades. I don't remember other countries canceling summits with our president as a result.
Oh, well, yes, and Ken does bring up a good point. But let me just speak as a veteran, as a special operations veteran. We need to remember who our adversaries are. Donald Trump does not treat Putin as an adversary. He continuously heaps on praise. It's been documented for years, going back to his time on the Miss Universe pageant, when he was boasting about how Putin was talking about what a genius he was and how Putin lavished gifts upon him. So, you know, this goes back quite a long time. I'm just concerned that he's lost his objectivity and considers him a friend at this point. It's well documented.
Well, Robin, one thing about the hacking that I think is worth a distinction here, and you tell me if I'm wrong, and that is there's no indication that they actually tried to hack election systems. They were hacking to try to get emails out from the DNC. In some scenario, you could say maybe they were doing us a favor by pulling the lid back, pulling the curtain back on what the DNC was doing.
No, I see your point, but it's one-sided, though. This benefited the Republican Party because it revealed campaign strategy. And I understand your point about it not being illegal, but nonetheless, this is America. This is our democracy that's at stake here.
Robin,
as a veteran, I think that we would be well served to very clearly, regardless of political party, say that this is wrong very strongly, and that's what I'm still waiting for this White House to do.
Robin, I respect at the highest degree your service. I've known about it before this show after being on many shows with you. However, you're just regurgitating a propagandized, manufactured Democrat talking point. We don't have any idea that this benefited the Republican Party because we don't know whether or not the Republican Party even knew about this hacking.
Speaking of talking points, for the last 2 years, Donald Trump has cast doubt on the idea that it was the Russians. He said during the campaign, maybe it was the Chinese, right. Maybe it was some 400-pound guy. Now we know that the Russians were trying to meddle. Whether it's legal or not, would you acknowledge that Donald Trump's conspiracy theory on this point has been blown apart?
Not at all, and here's why. Because maybe there was a 400-pound guy and the Chinese and 10 other people from 10 other countries who have also been trying to get involved in our elections, in addition to the Russians who allegedly were trying to get involved. Let's remember,
Ken,
this is only an indictment.
I question your patriotism. I question your patriotism, Ken.
Well,
right here, I'm calling you out.
That's pretty rude.
Well, Robin, explain yourself. Because, as I just said, any American should be against cozying up to foreign adversaries who tried to disrupt our system of democracy.
Who's cozying up
Donald
to this?
Trump, right here.
Robin,
here. 80 times he's praised.
That was obnoxious, rude, and unfounded to say that you question my patriotism.
I stand by my words.
Because
you will
I say
not stand up to
this is an allegation. I question your sense of justice if you think that a mere allegation, which is all an indictment
is,
or
that
you
it
don't
could be a 400-pound man.
Understand the law.
You just said that it could very well be a 400-pound man or China.
Be a 400-pound man, China, and 10 other countries.
But he has not been charged in the indictment. The only people who have been charged in the indictment are 13 Russians from a couple months ago, and now 12 Russian security officers with links to Vladimir Putin.
This is the worst of Democrat
do you think it's wrong?
This is the worst.
Do you think it's wrong?
This is the worst of Democrat talking points because there is nothing for us to be afraid of with Russia in the first place. All of a sudden, CBS on 60 Minutes about 2 years ago, I remember the day clearly, ran this report on Russia. I turned to my wife and Joyce DeWitt from Three's Company, who was at my house, and I said, now all of a sudden there's going to be this crazy manufactured robust argument against Russia when there hadn't been in like over 30 years.
Whether it's manufactured or not, is it wrong, yes or no, for a foreign government to try and meddle with U.S. elections? Not whether it's legal, whether it's wrong.
I think that it stinks for us if foreign countries are doing that, just like we're doing it to other countries. But I can't say that.
I stand by my words.
You stand by what? It's problematic. It's problematic for us that anybody tries to meddle in our elections. If a corporation in the United States tries to meddle with our elections, it's problematic too. But this happens nonstop. You're using these words like meddle and interfere with and influence as if they have some legal connotation. It's only if they're colluding to commit a crime.
Here's what we can do. We can have Donald Trump. We can have Donald Trump extradite the Russians. We can have Donald Trump ask Putin to extradite the Russians, and they can come and make the legal defense in court. We'll see how it plays out. Ken Del Vecchio, Robin Byro, thank you both so much for coming on. We appreciate it. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Still to come, Sarah Palin got